Hi guys, I'm Nina.
I'm Ethan.
And we are Bloody Essentials. Jamie is taking the night off because it is her birthday.
Happy birthday, Jamie. We love you. We miss you.
Yes, happy birthday, Jamie. Hope you have a blast, and we'll see you soon. But tonight we are doing something that I'm very excited for. It is officially the 50th anniversary of Jaws. And I love this movie. I know you do too, Ethan.
Absolutely. It's a great movie.
It is, yes. And it awakened things that I didn't know existed. And we'll get into that later. But Ethan, I know you saw this movie in theaters.
You bitch. This is older than I am, so no, I did not see it in theaters. I have seen it in a theater.
I have too, yeah. Yeah.
Just not when it originally came out.
How old were you when you saw this movie for the first time? Do you remember?
I was young.
Yeah.
This was a young one. I don't know, 5, 6.
Yeah. That's probably how old I was too. It was on cable the first time I saw it, and it was always playing 4th of July weekend, whatever. So yeah. we always caught it. But yeah, probably shouldn't have been allowed to watch this movie.
Yeah, it's tame compared to a lot.
It is tame. Yeah, and a lot of the adult jokes go right over your head. So yeah. All right, let's get into it. But first, we want to thank our Patreons, Rick, Swift, and David. Guys, thank you so much for supporting the show. It really means a lot to us. And, you know, we just appreciate having you guys as our friends. So thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate it, guys.
Yes.
And you guys may be wondering what's going on with this setting. I'm not in the studio. Nina's not in the studio. What's happening? Well, we're sitting in my kitchen. So
I was just going to let it be an elephant in the room.
We're recording from my kitchen, guys. So.
Yes. We're staring at each other right now.
Yes.
But also through the camera.
We're literally sitting across the table from each other.
Yes.
Looking at each other in the camera.
Oh, and also upcoming appearances. Flashback Week in Chicago, August 1st through the 3rd. It's going to be a great time. Very excited. So.
Come out. Say hello.
Maybe get a drink.
Maybe.
All right. Let's get into plot points.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, first off, before I forget, we have to talk about the score, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Iconic score. Probably just as well known as the movie. We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
As Jack Black says in The Holiday, yeah, I'm doing it. 2 notes and you have a villain. Just 2 notes. So.
I'm going to have to agree with whatever you said because I've never seen that movie. So.
Your wife has.
I'm sure she has.
It's a good holiday romp.
Sure.
Back to horror. Okay. So we start out the movie. It's a teen party on the beach. They're doing everything that we always tell you guys not to do, which is don't do drugs, don't have sex, and don't die. Yeah. So, you know, the 2 teenagers are running towards the ocean. They want to go swimming, and the girl's just taking off her clothes, flinging them everywhere. And
I mean, it's what to do.
He's falling over himself. So, yeah. And we have the great iconic first kill of the film with the young girl getting pulled through the water. What was like your first impression of this scene? Like, do you remember watching that for the first time?
I do. And I was like, oh, she's going to get eaten by the shark, because I certainly wasn't like boobs because I was 5.
Yeah.
They didn't have till I was like, 12. Then I was like, who cares about the shark? Look, titties.
Right.
But anyway, I was real excited because, this Robin's going to get eaten by a shark. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so cool.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, she's not alone. And like in a lot of horror movies, the victim is alone. So there's like a feeling of safety initially because she's still with her boyfriend or whatever. And yeah, like that was something I remember stuck with me. There should be the safety in familiar waters. You're still close to home, but there is no safety. So she dies. And then next day we see Chief Brody with his family. They just moved to the island. They're from New York originally. And this is his first summer on Amity Island.
Right. Not a big fan of the water.
Definitely not a big fan of the water. He hates the water. And they don't really talk about it. They just say that there was some childhood trauma there.
Right.
Can relate, my dude. I also can't swim, so I get it. I totally understand the feeling of like if you're on a ferry, like he stays in the car on the way over. I love that little.
Right, but like that's gonna do anything. If the ferry goes down, the car's going down with it. It's easier to swim if you're not in the car.
That's fair. Yeah. But I don't, yeah, he can swim, I think, but.
Well, we've seen that at the end.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he's holding on to the wood, so maybe he never learned to swim. Shut up.
He's holding on to wood.
He's holding on to his wood.
Yeah.
Actually, it's quince wood. So. So Brody gets a call that, you know, a girl's body's been found. So he goes to the beach. And this scene is great because you see first the face of the deputy after he's blowing the whistle. And he just looks absolutely shook, right? And, you know, we see a girl's hand. Crabs are all over it. And Chief Brody, he rules the cause of death initially as a shark attack.
Yeah. As I was saying to you, it's a good thing that the guy did not sleep with her because clearly the broadhead crashed. So.
Love it. Brody goes to a local hardware store, general store, whatever it is. Every small town has one. And he's going to get some materials to make signs that say beach closed. He's closing the beaches. And he finds out that there are kids doing their swim test for the Boy Scouts. So he heads out to, you know, get them out of the water, basically. And in order to get there, he's got to do the ferry or whatever. So he goes over there. The mayor follows him. He finds out what he's trying to do. And him and several other government officials are like, you can't close the beaches. It's almost the 4th of July. We rely on tourism to keep this town afloat. Yeah. So typical government officials not looking out for the best interests of the people. We won't get into that.
Right. I mean, you're not going to get an argument with me over that, but
no.
Right?
Yeah, I know. But yeah, the mayor's just like, you know, we don't need a panic on the 4th of July. And that's what would happen.
And I understand not needing the panic, but you could have closed it down and you didn't have to say there was a shark attack or anything.
You could have said anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's your job to keep these people safe.
Yeah,
So.
that's what you've been elected to do.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So we see Brody. He's on the beach, and several other people from the town are there, and they're having a good time. People are swimming. People are laughing because the beaches are still open.
Right.
And I love the cinematography during this scene because people are passing Brody left and right. And each time one person passes, the camera gets a little bit closer, and then another person passes, and it's like close up eventually by the end of it. And it's great.
That's a great shot.
Yeah. You can clearly tell that he's feeling very anxious. He's worried. He's looking around, and he can't seem to focus on anybody's conversations.
Correct. So let me ask you this. Okay.
Yeah.
There was this attack. He wanted to close down the beach. Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor says, no, we're not doing that, whatever. I understand he left it open.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he allow his wife and children to go to the beach?
I would never.
No. I'd be like, no, stay home and knit or something.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny? Until you mentioned it today, I'd never thought of it.
Really?
Yeah, never once thought of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I mean, I understood like the swimming, like I never would have let them go swimming ever. But being on the beach, I'd be like, eh.
No, I'd have been like, no, you're not going nowhere near. I mean, because they got 2 kids.
Yeah, young kids, under 10. Under 10, yeah.
Neither one of them were watching them.
No.
Which, here.
It was the 70s, though.
Well, that's true. But it should have been because he was there. Well, he wasn't there in the capacity of the sheriff or of the chief.
Right.
But if he was there doing the chief thing, the mother should have been watching them.
Hello.
While he's doing that. Yeah. I just, again, movie, bad parenting.
70s.
Yeah.
We had a conversation last week about bad parenting with Stir of Echoes. It's just going to be an ongoing theme. It's very prominent in horror movies. So, unfortunately, but yeah, what can you do?
Right? All right, I digress. Go ahead. Sorry.
Speaking of bad parenting, we have a shark attack, and little boy Alex Kinter gets killed.
Yes, he is.
Yes, very tragic. But I was telling Ethan, every single time I watch this movie, I remember being so scared for the dog, but so relieved when it was just the kid that died. I was like, whew, thank goodness.
You may need to seek therapy. I'm just saying.
I'm already in it. It's fine. Pippin is marked safe from Bruce. And then we have that famous, iconic Chief Brody shot where it just does a quick zoom in. I don't know the technical term. Everybody's yelling at me. I'm sorry.
Let's just call it quick zoom in.
It's a quick zoom in.
Because we're not that other podcast who went to film school.
No, Jamie's here.
So,
Jamie's not here, so we don't know the name
Right.
for it. That's why.
we just say things look cool.
Things look cool. That's a cool shot. That's all you're going to get from me.
That's about it.
Yeah. I know there's a word for it, but I don't care. And we find out Mrs. Kinter has put up a reward for the person or persons that can kill the shark.
Right.
Understandable, right? If this was my kid that had died, that shark better be dying.
Okay.
Or the beaches should be closed or
I
something.
was going to say, I think I would have lobbied to have the beaches
I think
closed.
beaches closed. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But she didn't,
No.
which is weird. But anyways, so there's a town meeting and everybody's like, don't close the beaches. We need the tourist money and all that, which is weird because it's like, cool, but they're going to die.
Right.
And then they won't come back.
Right. Because it's
Because they're dead.
It's hard to come back and spend money if you're dead.
It's hard to come back if you don't have legs.
They're fast. They're definitely not walking back.
They're
So-
definitely not swim back either. And then we're introduced to Quint, iconic character. Love the actor. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. And as much as I love Quint, I hate him.
Oh, especially
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
But-
my God, I wanted to punch him when he did that.
It could have been worse. It could have been a lot sharper because he didn't use actual chalk. It was just his nails.
Yeah.
But I love that he drew the shark.
Shark with a person in it? Yes, that was
Yeah,
great.
that's so fun. And Quint basically tells everybody, he's like, I'll kill your shark for you. I'll bring it back and everything. And I want 10 grand.
Well, he'll find it for 3.
He'll find it for 3. He's going to kill
He's
it
going to kill it for 10.
for 10.
So I'm like, is that 13?
Yes, probably. I'd say 13.
Yeah,
Why not?
sure.
Yeah.
We don't know. We didn't write it, but we'll say 13.
They didn't think about that.
No.
So everybody's kind of like, okay, we'll keep it in mind.
Right.
But this guy's clearly off his rocker, right? So I had to include this scene because I love it. Brody's looking at different books with pictures of shark attack victims, and his kids are playing out on a boat, and they're just off the dock. They're tied to the dock. It's just a little dinghy, and his wife is telling him, stop yelling at them. They're in a boat. They're not on the ocean.
Right.
They're not in the water. They're on a boat. They should be safe, right? And then she sees one of the pictures, illustrations, showing a shark chewing through
Right.
a boat. And she's like, get out of the water.
Did you hear your father?
Which is true. Like, sharks have been known to, like,
Right.
go through boats, as we see later.
Again, bad parenting.
Yeah.
Was just an attack. I'm going to be inside drinking. Kids are going to be outside in the water.
After seeing the book with the pictures of actual shark victims, I'd be like, no one's going near the water. No one in this family is going near water.
No.
No,
Mm-mm.
ever. Mm-mm.
Sorry.
Period.
No, not happening.
Especially since Brody points out many times throughout the movie that he knows that sharks can
Right.
attack in shallow water.
Truly, you just seen this kid get eaten. I would be like, I'm going to stand in here while you take a bath.
Yeah.
I mean, no
Literally.
water. Sorry.
Yeah, no. But, and then we see 2 locals using one of their wives' holiday roasts to catch the shark, which works out great. The dock gets pulled out right from under them.
In which, how big was that person's family? Because that roast was like a half a cow. Seriously. They like put the hook in it, and I was like, my God, who are you feeding?
The whole neighborhood.
Apparently. I'm sorry. My inner fat guy just spoke out. I was like, it's a huge roast.
Even for just 2 people.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you make the roast, you got pork sandwiches the rest of the week. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next day, we've got the entire town hunting for sharks. We've got people coming in from other states, they point out
Right.
later. And they're not professional. You've got one guy with a stick of dynamite.
Love that.
Yeah. And then you've got another group of guys that are just overcrowding the boat.
Right.
And Da-da-da, the hero of the movie comes Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
Love Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes. Awesome actor.
Yes, and many other reasons. But yes, my first crush as a child. I was probably 5, and I blame Richard Dreyfuss for my attraction to sarcastic men.
Okay.
He's a smartass. He's charming.
Yes. When I met him, it was very nice.
When I met him, he was very nice too.
He was a lot nicer to you.
So Richard Dreyfuss comes, and his name is Hooper. He's a marine biologist from an institute that they said the name of like 3 times, and I can never catch it.
Right.
But I don't care.
We'll just say that one place.
Yeah, he's an expert. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
And he asked Brody if he can see the remains of the first victim. And the great part about this scene is that you never see the body, you just see the hand, right? That's all you ever see. And your imagination does the work for you. So you just hear Hooper's descriptions of what he sees.
Which I never understood this part, because when they pulled the body out, it was like in a box like this big. I mean, it wasn't like a full,
I don't think they ever got the whole body.
Yeah, but he was like, this is happening, this happened, this happened, this happened. I was like, there's a whole lot of crap in that small box.
Yeah.
For him to see all that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because they don't even pull out a full body. They just pull out like a little bit,
Yeah,
like the same size as an airport bin that you put your shoes in.
They're like, here's the remains of this broad. Tell us what happened.
I would assume that it's just like one hand and then a torso.
Right.
Yeah. Because he describes the torso, but he doesn't really describe anything else. But yeah, good point. I never really thought of that either. I was just like, the imagination, it's very strong.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And just the way he gets sucked into it, and he's just like very emotional about it. Really, like, you feel for this girl. And Hooper mentions, this is a larger than normal shark. This is a pretty serious predator, and it was definitely not a boating accident. This shark needs to be caught now. And then we find out that shark was caught, but it's definitely not our Brucey.
Yeah.
No, but everyone's celebrating as if like the one shark you happened to catch was definitely.
Yay, we killed a shark. It's not the one, but we killed this shark.
It's not the shark. It's a shark. Yeah, as Hooper points out, and then Hooper is telling Brody, I need to cut the shark open to determine if this is our killer.
Right.
And the mayor's like, no,
nope.
No. Yeah.
Which I understand why he was like, no, he's like, I'm not going to cut this open here and have this boy.
Yeah, not here.
But I'm like, dumbass, take it somewhere and do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what ultimately happens. We'll get there. But Mrs. Kinter, the little boy's mom, shows up and she slaps Brody, and she's like, I found out that you knew about this shark. It had killed somebody else like a week before, and you let the beaches stay open. Mm-hmm. And of course she's devastated.
Dressed all in black with a veil.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Her child is dead.
I get it, but ma'am, please. Please.
No. I think you would have been dressed in black and everything, still wearing a veil, if something had happened to Josh.
Oh, God, don't even say that.
Yeah, we won't go there. But yeah, you definitely feel for her. And Brody's like, yeah, this was my fault, because even though you guys told me I shouldn't and you guys told me I shouldn't, I did it anyway. Like I listened to you, and I shouldn't have.
But I'm going to speak up on his behalf.
Of course. He
really couldn't do anything. He doesn't have the final say. The mayor does.
I thought the sheriff does.
No. In order to
that's true.
Down,
yeah,
they would have had to go through city council. The mayor.
They were explaining.
The mayor could have said, "We're stopping this now."
Yeah.
I mean, he should have put up more of a fight
at this point. Yeah.
But he should have put up more of a fight. I mean, if I was the sheriff, I'd be like, "No, we're going to do this." And he said, "No," I'd be like, "Here, well, then you're the sheriff. We're leaving. I want no part of this."
Yeah.
But
definitely should have put up more of a fight. Yeah, I agree. And by the time Alex is killed, it's like,
right.
Come on.
You should just punch the mayor right in the throat. Just been like, bam.
Yeah, exactly. And the mayor.
Not that I feel that violence is the way to handle anything, kids.
No kids watch our podcast. It's fine. But
I know a few. Go ahead.
the mayor even says later he has kids.
Right.
So it's like, then act like a father and protect the
Right.
people that you were elected to serve.
Correct.
Don't get me started. Okay. So dinner at the Brodies. We've got this really great heartwarming scene between Brody and his youngest son, and such a sweet moment, right?
Yes.
Hooper arrives and he tells the story of how he got interested in sharks and all of that. Brody basically agrees that he's going to cut the shark open. And
right after they drink their wine.
After they have another glass of wine.
Yes.
Warm wine.
Well, it was red. So
that's true. It should be drink at room temperature. White, no.
Yes.
White needs to be chilled. Yes. I hate that I know that.
Red at room temperature.
I hate that I know that.
Unless you're my brother-in-law, then you're going to put ice in it. It's going to drive me crazy.
Oh my God. If you put ice in your wine, you're a heathen. I said it. If you're listening, just know I'm judging you. Okay. Your family listens. It's fine. We need to correct this
right,
behavior.
My entire family's like, I'm done with that bitch. No.
It's fine. Everybody else is fine. So he agrees because he knows that the shark is not going to go anywhere unless something is done. So they cut the shark open, and there is no Alex.
No.
So this is not our killer.
No.
And Hooper's like, we're going to go out into open water because sharks they're more nocturnal, I guess. They hunt more so at night. So, and Brody's like, I don't want to go. And he's like, you're coming. Yeah. So,
you could really talk the chief into anything. Leave the beach open. Okay. Come on this boat. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Like, you're not a good leader, dude.
He really isn't. I don't know how he got this job. I guess somebody just showed up and they're like, here.
Right? You're the boss.
You be the boss. He's like, okay. So they head out, and let me see. Lots of crap.
I like how when they got on the boat, though, he had brought the other bottle of wine with him. And he was hammered.
Oh, he was slurring his words so bad.
He was hammered.
Yeah, it was great. Hooper, he's got lots of, shark hunting tech gear.
Right.
And they find a wrecked boat, and Brody says it's Ben Gardner's boat. And I love the camera work here because you've got some awesome like fog coming off the water and the lights, how it illuminates the mist and everything.
Yeah.
So fun. Hooper goes diving. He finds a shark tooth, but drops it because he finds Ben Gardner, or what's left of him.
Yeah, that was great.
That was such a fun scene. Yeah. That always gets me, that little, when he just floats out.
I know it's coming.
I know.
Every time it's there, I'm like, oh my God.
And it looks so good for the 70s. The eyes bulging and everything. Great. And who knows how long Ben's been there. I mean, Ben could have died before the girl. We wouldn't have known. Next day, Hooper and Brody are talking to the mayor. Iconic scene. I love this scene so much. And the mayor and Hooper are just going at it. Lots of sarcasm in this scene. And they're just like, we have to close the beaches. And the mayor's pissed because a billboard's been vandalized.
Right. He
doesn't care about the shark. He's just like, no, beaches stay open. 4th of July is here.
Right.
So the tourists come bustling in, and Brody and Hooper are organizing people to monitor the swimming areas. Right. And initially, no one's going into the water until the mayor talks to one of his friends, and he's like, go in the water. Be an example to everybody. Have fun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care if it was you telling me directly. I don't care if it was anybody. Like, I'm not taking kids into the water. I'm not going into the water myself if I know there's been a shark there.
Well, there's also the fact that I'm not a dick and wouldn't tell you and the children to get in the water. So, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate this mayor.
Yeah.
He's a shithole.
Yes.
And he's in the second one too, doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Ugh. Never learns.
No.
So.
You ever seen Metacon punch him?
I don't think he's alive anymore.
You know why?
I think he's passed.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, he was old in this movie.
Yeah.
All right. So frolicking occurs. Everybody's playing in the water. Everybody's having a great time. And then we've got that great shark score. We've got kids kids playing, and then the shark shows up, or so we think.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's just kids playing a prank, fake fin.
Now, do you realize what I would have done to those children?
Oh, I would have held them
if
underwater.
I was in that water?
I would have held them underwater.
I
would have slapped them with that fake shark fin.
See, I wouldn't have done anything because I would not beat up a child. But I would whip the father's ass. So I would be like, this is what you get because your child's an idiot. So
that's fair. Yeah. And meanwhile, Birdie's telling his kids, don't go into the deeper water, go over to the pond, which is where the shallow water is, right? And it's like, dude, you literally said like 10 minutes ago that sharks can go into shallow water 3 feet or less.
That's why I'm laughing. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot.
Yes. Like, seriously?
No, I'd be like, you know what? You and your friends can go in the pool at our house.
Exactly. Yeah. So, let me see. Yeah. So the shark ends up going to where the kids are, and he first attacks a guy in a boat who's got that really thick New England accent, which I love.
Oh, God. Yes.
Yeah. And we see his leg just fall off and hit.
Awesome.
Such a great shot. Yeah. And then Birdie's son, Michael, he's in shock, but he's relatively okay. He's going to have some trauma. But yeah, he's in the hospital. And then we've got another great shot where Birdie is looking out at the open water, and the camera just zooms out at the water. And at this point, Birdie knows it's time to act. Like, it's past time.
It's past time to act, sir.
Yeah.
You should have acted 2 days ago.
Right. But now that his child has been directly affected, he's pissed.
Right.
Understandable. And he basically forces the mayor to hire Quint.
Right.
And Quint gets introduced to Hooper, and the guys are like, they look reassured when they see all of the shark relics that Quint has, but Quint just hates both of them and wants to be left alone and wants to hunt the shark on his own. And they're like, no, we hired you. We're coming with you. Right. So.
Bet you're regretting that, ain't you?
For real.
Right?
Yeah. And then again with the camera shots, but this is one of such an iconic shot where the camera goes through the jaws of the shark towards the boat. And, they're fishing with their awesome fishing pole that does nothing.
Does nothing at all, but okay.
Yeah, but the line breaks like less than 5 minutes after they've caught him.
Right.
And, a lot's happening, but we're just skipping through some of this. And Brody, he's throwing the chum bits over the edge.
Yeah.
So great. And then all of a sudden, here's Brucey.
Yep.
So fun.
That is so iconic. Just boom. And he's like, up in his eye.
Yeah, just the side of the face, not even the full shark. It's so great. And then you get that great iconic line, we are going to need a bigger boat. And Quint determines that it's at least a 25-footer.
Right.
And they slowly start attaching a barrel to him, and the shark gets away, of course. So Quint just like staring the guys down, like this is your fault type thing.
Right.
Because everything bad that happens is their fault. Right. It couldn't be his ego.
No
way.
Not at all.
No. You would think that after all the shit that Quint has been through in his life, that he would have a little more humility.
Right? I'm just saying.
Yeah. And then
I also had a razor for those. I just can't.
It was the 70s. Right? Hair was everywhere.
But I'm like, listen, your mustache is groomed well. Why are your sideburns like that? I'm sorry. I know it was the 70s, but I'm like, I can't deal with that.
He took his mustache very seriously.
I see.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to thank all of you guys for listening and supporting the podcast. If you haven't already, please follow us, like us, leave us a review. Little things like this can really help the podcast out so much. Also, if you want to hear your name mentioned in our episodes at the beginning and receive fun little goodies from the entire Bloody Essentials team, you can join our Patreon. It's 100% like no commitment. All the proceeds go back into the podcast. It helps us upgrade our recording equipment, our editing software, all those good things. And it also helps pay for our travel expenses with our upcoming appearances. So that can add up really fast, but we're looking to hopefully expand to other conventions and, going to other states to see spooky attractions. So funds like that will help significantly. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but before we can actually like start receiving funds through YouTube and things like that, as creators, as horror creators, we need at least 500 followers on YouTube. So if you aren't already following us, but you listen to us and you really like our content, please like us, subscribe. It really helps out so much and it allows us to keep doing what we're doing. So we love bringing horror to you each week, whether it's content creators, our thoughts on a film. So we really want to keep doing this for as long as possible. And money is unfortunately a big way to stay on top of that. So, like I said, all of your support really means a lot, and you get fun little goodies from all of us. We got Bloody Essentials merch, we got horror goodies that we've been saving for you guys, whether it's stickers, horror collectibles, like I'm talking like shirts from your favorite horror companies, Fright Rags, all those good places. And then, of course, we've got some NECA figures and all those kinds of things. So if you want to receive fun horror goodies from your Bloody Essentials crew, join our Patreon. It's going to be a really good time. We also have a Discord channel and unedited episodes before they air. So that's always exciting. And we're hoping to be doing movie parties really soon. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll get back to the show now. So they are having drinks and sharing war stories, including their battle scars.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is true about all of them, but I believe that most of the scars are their actual scars, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
fun.
read that somewhere.
That's
I
fun.
think it's true. If it's not, it's the internet's fault.
Okay.
But
We'll blame it on the internet.
yeah, but I think I read somewhere that most of the scars that they shared were their actual scars.
Oh, that's cool.
So, which explains why they look so good. And then, Brody mentions one of the scars on his arms, and he was like, "Oh, that's a tattoo I had removed." And
Right.
they're giving him shit because that's such a rare moment for them to be able to do. And we've got this incredible monologue that he gives about the USS Indianapolis, which was a real ship. And, his first exposure to sharks, or what we presume is the first exposure. And I forgot to mention, when they're sharing their war stories and they're showing their battle scars, I love how Hooper and Quint slowly scoot closer towards each other.
Yeah.
Like it's a rare moment where they're actually getting along. And then Brucey feels left out. So he swims into the boat, starts like bunting the boat basically. Right. And
it's like, remember when you shot me earlier, bitch? Bam!
Right? I want a drink.
Right?
Yeah. And so water starts to get into the boat because obviously he's hitting that boat really hard.
Right.
And the lights go out. They've lost power, at least to the electric part of it. And then smoke is coming up from below deck, and you see Quentin Hooper the next day. They're trying to do maintenance. Not working out so well. Like, yeah. I don't know what they plan on doing because there's smoke coming out, and like we saw holes in the ship. Like, right. Like I'm amazed this boat didn't sink sooner. And at this point, Brody is like, I'm just going to radio for help. Like, we need backup. This shark is way more than we can handle. We need a bigger boat.
A fact's a fact, man.
This thing is huge.
We need a bigger boat because this is bigger than Christmas.
I don't know why they didn't call Coast Guard. Like, even Hooper says, like, this wasn't reported to Coast Guard. And he's like, no. Yeah. For the sake of the story.
Right.
So Brody tries to radio the Coast Guard for backup, and Quint just breaks the radio. And he's like, what the fuck, dude? And yeah, Quint just wants to do it all on his own. So the shark comes back for his noon feeding. And the guys are attaching barrels and shooting at the shark, and they try to attach the barrels to the boat, and then the shark starts pulling them out towards the open water, so they cut the lines. And now Bruce is playing with his food.
Facts.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, so that's just what I wrote. And the barrels are not wearing him down like Quint expected.
Not at all.
Yeah, so they're kind of on their last leg at this point, but Quint decides he's going to draw Bruce into the shallows, and he pushes the boat past his capacity because he's an egomaniac.
Right.
And the engine ends up blowing. And when they go down inside the boat, like, it's waist deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this boat's going to sink.
Yeah, you're screwed, dude.
Yeah, you're literally screwed. And there's no radio because Quint is an asshole.
Right.
Yeah. So Quint is just like, Hooper, tell me about this cage thing that you got here.
Right.
And basically the idea is they're going to put Hooper down into the cage. Hooper's going to stab Bruce with some drugs, and we're going to hope for the best.
Right.
So Hooper's lowered into the water. Doesn't work out. It is not an anti-shark cage.
No.
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 Yeah.
Superman no es aquí.
So Hooper swims away, and he decides to take a nap during the final act of the movie. I don't blame him.
Right? I mean, it's what to do.
Yeah, I would run.
Yeah.
So Quentin Brody, they lift up the cage, and they just assume he's dead.
Right.
Yeah. And, the shark throws himself on top of the boat now at this point.
He's like, I'm done.
He's like, I am not screwing around anymore. I'm just hungry.
Exactly.
And y'all took me away from my food and are playing with me, so I'm going to play with you.
That's right.
And Quint is like holding on to Brody because the boat is literally like Titanicing. And Brody can't hold on, and Quint falls right into the shark's jaws.
Love that scene.
I just said the name of the movie.
You've done that a couple times, so that's okay.
Yep. It's such a great kill.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't care what anybody says. I think the shark looks great.
Yeah.
People argue that the shark looks like shit.
Well, there's a few things. It was 1975.
It looks really good considering they were filming in salt water.
It's not a real shark. So there's that.
You can't film with a real shark.
Right.
I mean, you could.
Right, but people, kind of frown upon that.
Yeah.
So.
It's also an American movie, and Spielberg is not Fulci.
Right.
So, not a good idea. So yeah, Quint's dead. And I love how as Bruce is pulling Quint under, the door just closes on Brody in the cabin.
Yes, that's great.
Such an iconic shot. And then Bruce swims into the cabin at this point.
Yeah.
He's like, this boat's going down.
Right.
Like, if I have any say over it. So Brody shoves a pressurized tank into his mouth, and he's going to shoot at it. And I believe Mythbusters actually tested this to see if they could get it to work, and I think they disproved it, but that's beside the point.
Right.
It's a fun scene.
Because it's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
But yeah, it was like 1,000 to 1 that he can make the shot. That's what they were trying to prove.
Right.
But beside the point. So Brody gets onto the crow's nest, and it's like tilted at this point. And so he's like right at eye level with the shark.
Yeah.
And he just needs Bruce to come out of the water enough to be able to see the tank to aim at it just right. And got another great line. This movie is so quotable. And he's just like, come on, you son of a, and he doesn't even finish it. He shoots, and kaboom.
Doesn't he say smile, you son of a bitch?
Oh, that's what it is. Smile.
Yeah.
Smile, you son of a. Yeah. And so the shark is dead. Yay. Blood everywhere. Water everywhere.
Right.
And Hooper comes up. Yay, he's alive.
Mm-hmm.
And they are swimming back. They're floating on the remnants of a boat, and they brought some barrels with them.
Yeah.
And I love the last two lines of the movie. Brody's like, I used to hate water, and Hooper's like, I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
And that is Jaws in 45 minutes.
That's right. All right. Now we get some fun facts here.
Okay.
Put my glasses on.
Oh, boy.
So I can see. Okay. This movie was inspired by Peter Benchley's novel, as I'm sure we already all know. He does make a cameo in the movie as one of the reporters on the beach.
Yes.
Other names that were considered other than Jaws were Leviathan Rising and The Stillness in the Water. I'm glad that they went with Jaws. Although I do like Leviathan Rising.
I like the stillness of the water. I love that. But Jaws is definitely, It's easier to remember. It's punchier, yeah.
Yes. Spielberg decided to shoot this in the water rather than in tanks or stuff on land.
Yeah.
Which led to numerous production challenges, quite obviously.
Yeah.
You're going to have some issues with that. Ultimately, it led to the film's use in the signature soundtrack to kind of put over everything that was happening out on the beach.
I'm sure
in the ocean.
the shark engine, or the motors to control the shark were a pain.
Exactly. Okay. The name of the shark was Bruce, which was affectionately nicknamed by the film crew, and Bruce frequently broke down during filming.
Yes, much to the cast dismay.
Yes. As you said, the iconic score is just as iconic as the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The line, "We're going to need a bigger boat," was improvised by Roy Schneider himself.
Mm-hmm.
It was considered the first summer blockbuster and made over $67 million, which
incredible for the time. Yeah.
In 1976. And the last little fun fact that I have is the success of this movie led to a surge in shark hunting, which was fueled by the misguided belief that eliminating sharks would somehow make beaches safer.
What would make beaches safer? Banning glass.
Right?
On the beaches.
You know what else would make it safer?
Not hunting sharks?
No. Not being a dumbass and watching your kids. I mean, there's that.
Well, you know how many beaches I go to, and
7? You go to 7.
I go to 1, but I go to one beach and I see so many parents not watching their kids, and that makes me super anxious around water.
Well, I go everywhere, not only the beach, and see people not
that
watching
too.
their kids, and I want to punch them in the face.
But especially near water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's Jaws.
It is.
Let's rate this movie.
All right.
I have to go first.
Unless you want me to go.
You go.
Okay. Iconic movie. I personally don't know anybody who doesn't like this movie.
Yeah.
It may not be their favorite movie, but I don't know anybody who dislikes this movie.
Yeah.
I've had a little banter back and forth with people, whether it's a horror movie or it's a horror movie, it's a creature feature. Get out of my eye. I don't want to talk to you about that. This is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Although it's not all bloody and, gory.
It's pretty bloody for 1975.
It does have some good kills. It does have some gore in it, but not anything like, obviously, nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it's a great movie. I think everybody should watch it. I rewatch it a couple times a year.
Same.
I also like the sequels, but that's a whole different story. I like those as well. But this one I think is awesome. I think everybody ought to see it. I'm going to give this an 8.
An 8. Okay. Okay. I agree. I think this is a horror movie. I didn't even know that was a debate amongst people.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It is a horror movie because they say many times that this shark is not your average shark, and it clearly isn't. And I know so many people that were literally terrified to even take a shower after watching this movie. So if a movie can do that to anybody, even adults, no, that's a horror movie. So I definitely consider it a horror movie and a creature feature. I love this movie. It's iconic. People who don't even like horror movies like this movie. And I mean, it started a brand new genre of horror, which was sharks.
Yep.
There's so many shark movies out there now because of this movie.
Right.
And it's literally all because of Jaws. I also love the sequels. They're fun. I don't care. I remember watching Jaws: The Revenge, which is part 4.
Yes.
Loved it. So fun.
It is.
And the fact that they got the wife from the original back, like, that's fucking awesome. I don't care. I love them.
Yeah, whatever.
Come at us in the comments.
That's right.
You're wrong.
Exactly. You're allowed to be wrong.
It's okay. We can't always be correct all the time.
That's right. I mean, I can be. Most of the time I am. But go ahead.
You're not. So, with all that being said, I'm giving it a 10.
Oh.
Because it's a perfect movie to me.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. If you haven't seen this movie, you really need to, because it is such a quotable, fun movie. So,
Yeah.
And it's fun for all ages, despite the gore.
Yeah.
So,
it's fun for the whole family.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Just don't get eaten.
No.
I really want to see this movie in a pool or open water. I think open water would be more terrifying, but yeah.
All right.
So if you like this movie and you liked a review of it, let us know if you want to hear about other shark movies. So there's plenty
other
to pick
creature
from.
features.
Or other
if there
creature
are other
features.
creature features you want to have us review, let us know.
Yes. All right, guys. Just remember, if you ever find yourself in a horror movie, don't have sex and don't do drugs.
And certainly, don't die. We'll see you next time.
Bye.